onions, la la la. Onions, onions, ha ha ha. Do 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 do. Onions, onions, la la la. Onions, onions, ha ha ha. Do 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 do.
Hello there, and welcome to Weave Your Web Revived Season 3, I think Episode 5. I'm not 100% sure. I am your host, Tor James Faulkner. I hope that you're having a lovely day. I hope you've had a nice time since the last episode. I think it's going to be quite a nice episode. First up, we have a lovely, I think it's going to be lovely, psychic news story that involves the absolutely lovely psychic Sally Morgan, who I would love to have on the show. I would love to have you on the show, Sally, if by chance you happen to hear this, or somebody who knows Sally happens to hear this. This is me officially saying, Sally, I would love to have you on Weave Your Web. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. The headline is, Psychic Sally Morgan says there's a sweet reason you might see a robin. Sally Morgan, who has appeared on various TV shows, including Sally Morgan, Star Psychic, says there's a poignant reason you might spot a robin. And this article is from the Daily Record. There's a beautiful picture of a robin there. I do think robins are very, very pretty. TV psychic Sally Morgan claims there's some truth to the saying, when robins appear, loved ones are near. She explained that if you are seeking, we're not even 5 minutes into the show, and I'm already tripping on words. Okay, let's try that again. She explained that if you're seeking a sign from the spirit world, one of the first signs you'll receive is a robin. Robins are free. They fly in, they fly out, said Sally, who tours the country extensively. She added that you'll know it's your loved one because you will instantly think of the loved one who has passed. Sally, who featured on various TV shows, including Sally Morgan, Star Psychic, suggested that robins are spirits of people who want to say hello. And the time elapsed since their passing doesn't matter. The psychic then encouraged people to look out for a robin today, as it could be a sign from spirit, and you may not have realised it previously. The well-known phrase, when robins appear, loved ones are near, refers to the belief that the robin is a messenger. When robins are seen, some people find solace that loved ones are at peace, and many believe that their departed loved ones are visiting them. They also revealed that the unofficial bird of Britain is highly regarded. The next time you see a robin in your garden, be sure to give them the time of day. You just never know what message they may have for you, they advised. The idea that robins held sentimental value resonated deeply with many viewers of Psychic Sally's video, which is from TikTok. One woman shared, "Now how crazy is this? My brother and I were chatting in my garden and a robin flew on another chair beside us, chirping away at us and looking at us. That's so sweet. We had just lost our mom." Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. "And we're talking about her and it was going crazy until we looked up at it." Oh. Another viewer commented, "I am obsessed with robin spotting. I hadn't seen one for years, and then when my little dog died," oh, I'm so sorry, "I saw them every time I was on a walk." A fellow TikTok user shared their own experience. I have a robin often coming to see me. It's me mum. I hope she's trying to tell me everything will be okay." One user even mentioned that her husband greets the robin in the garden saying, "My hubby always says hello dad to the robin that comes into the garden." I really like that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm tearing up just a little bit because it's such a sweet sentiment, and it's such a nice thing to believe to be true, that when we see a robin, it's a loved one who who has passed over. It's that, it's a nice, beautiful piece of reassurance, isn't it? To have that happen. And I'll certainly be looking out for robins myself. So, very, very lovely article there involving Sally Morgan. And I believe that they took the content for this article from Sally Morgan's TikTok, which is at Sally Morgan TV. That's at Sally Morgan TV on TikTok. So if you happen to be on TikTok and you want to go and watch the full chat that Sally has about seeing robins, off you pop. Pause this. Go and watch Sally for a little bit. So, from a very sentimental article, we're going to move on to a scary story. This scary story is called The Phone Call. There is a rumour online that if you go to a specific subway station late at night, you will receive a call from a mysterious male caller. You shouldn't answer it and continue to your destination. If you do, you may never be seen again. Olive believed this was false and set out to prove these rumours wrong. She stepped off the bus, fixing her backpack to her shoulders, as she looked around the empty station. The train made one last call before setting off. Olive's phone rang. She retrieved it from her pocket and answered it. "Hello?" "Olive," a male voice responded in return. She was confused, as she had never heard this person's voice before. But he seemed to know her name. "Yes, who is this?" Olive questioned. The person on the other end was quiet before speaking again. "Can we meet?" he asked. "Meet me?" Olive needed clarification as to what he meant. Oh, I've got chills already. The sound of metal scraping against bricks reached her ears. Olive looked around, tense and on edge, because she was alone, especially since there was no sign of any vehicle or person. "Stay where you are, Olive. I will be right there." The call ended with a click. With her heart thumping loudly in her ears, she found a place to hide. Olive waited for the mysterious person to show up. When he didn't, she exhaled a sigh of relief and slowly stepped out of her hiding place. "Big mistake, Olive. Big mistake, Olive," a male voice whispered from behind her. She stiffened and turned her face to the mysterious person. His face was hidden behind a white wooden mask. No, I don't like that. With black swirls for eyes. No. And jagged, misshapen points for teeth. No, I don't like this. "I found you," he added, and silenced her scream with a hand over her mouth, dragging her into the darkness of one of the many tunnels. The following morning, the subway attendant opened the information booth when he noticed a bloody handprint on the outside glass. How strange, he thought to himself. He knew he had cleaned out the outside windows before closing last night. Had something terrible happened? Yes. I think it did. No. Looking at the pile of missing posters he had received from the main office, he sighed, brows furrowing as he frowned. There have been so many disappearances lately, he muttered. No, let me try that again. Looking at the pile of missing posters he had received from the main office, he sighed, brows furrowing as he frowned. There have been so many disappearances lately, he muttered. Cleaning off the handprint as if it had never been there, Olive's picture and the others who had met the same end or a different fate were added. As the attendant posted the missing posters, a broken cell phone lay haphazardly out of sight on the ground outside the booth. Past it was a narrow tunnel where dim lights flickered overhead. Fresh blood was smeared, trailing and skipping along its brick surface. At the end of this tunnel stands a tall figure. He wears a white wooden mask with black swirls for eyes and misshapen points for teeth to conceal his face. No one knows his true identity or where he came from. The media, however, gave him the name the Echo Reaper. If anyone were to answer the call, they would become just a face on a missing poster. Time for a break.
I don't like rain or snow or hail, Moby Dick, that great white whale, but I love onions. I don't like shoes that pinch your toes, or people who squirt you with a garden hose, but I love onions. Onions, onions, la la la. Onions, onions, ha ha ha. Do 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 do. Onions, onions, la la la. Onions, onions, ha ha ha. Do 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 do.
Welcome back to Weave Your Web Revived, I believe, episode 5 of season 3. I'm still your host, Tor James Faulkner. I really liked that spooky story, and I hope it didn't give you the wig too much. I really liked it. I really like horror or scary stories that involve phones or, you know, other communication devices, videotapes, things like that. I've always loved scary stories that involve technology in some way, and when I saw that one, I thought, ooh, that would be a really good one to read. So I hope that you liked it. I hope it didn't give you the wig too much. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. Now, I want to talk about the next steps in law of attraction. In the previous episode, I went over some of the law of attraction basics. In previous episodes, I've given you manifestation exercises, like the happiness bank and a little exercise in how to change your thoughts. If you would like to go back and listen to those first, that might be helpful. Or if you want to email me and ask me for those exercises, that's fine too. I'm happy to write them out in an email for you. The contact information will be in and around wherever you are listening to this. But what happens once we've done that? So we've understood the basics. We've understood that like attracts like. We've written everything down that we want to manifest. We've been doing our happiness bank. We've been catching our thoughts and changing our thoughts. Then what do we do? You may have heard the phrase, ask, believe, receive. And I have to say, it's often attached to things that might seem a little bit airy-fairy, right? But it's actually not that far from law of attraction teachings. So we ask, we have a clear image, we've written down, whichever way you want to do it, what we want to attract. And we believe it by doing the affirmations. We believe it by doing the happiness bank. But to receive it, and this is the step that most people either they don't know about or they don't realize, to receive it, we have to look for the opportunity. We have to look for the opportunity to receive what we're asking for. Now, what I think is a really important thing to point out is that there does have to be a level of realism. I'm not saying that nothing is impossible. I believe that everything is possible. But there has to be a level of realism, and there has to be a certain extent of things happening in stages for a lot of things. Not for everything, but for a lot of things. Let's say that you wanted to become a singer. You've had no prior experience. You've had no professional singing experience. Maybe all you've done is sing around the house. And somebody has said to you, oh, you know, you've got a really nice voice. You've got a really good voice. Maybe you've even gone to the extent of going to a vocal coach. And they've said to you, yeah, you can sing. You've got a really good voice. practice, 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 and all of that. And that's really good. And you know that you can sing. But you've got no experience. You've got no experience in the industry. You've never really been on stage before. So you're trying to manifest becoming a singer. Now, it's very unlikely. It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But it's very unlikely that, you know, a huge record producer or someone who owns a big, fabulous record label is going to, you know, discover you while you're in the laundrette. Not saying it doesn't happen. But it's, you know, it's kind of unlikely. But if you're asking the universe to make you a singer, something will come along that will encourage that. You might start seeing flyers, or your friend might say, "Oh, why don't we start going to karaoke down the pub?" Right? And for a lot of people, they might be thinking, "Well, that's just karaoke down the pub. Any Tom, Dick, or Harry, you know, can do that. Everybody gets up at karaoke and what have you." That's okay. That's okay. If you're suddenly seeing the information for karaoke down the pub, or, you know, your friend Joanne, it's always Joanne, asks you to go down the pub for karaoke, that's your opportunity from the universe to be on a stage with a microphone singing. On a very real point, on a very realistic level, what that's going to do is it's going to help build your confidence. It's going to give you experience, because you can say, "Oh yeah, I've sung down such and such a pub," right? You don't necessarily have to say it's karaoke to you know, to people who are inquiring, but you can say, "I've sung down such and such a pub and such a pub." It might even be a karaoke contest where you might win a cash prize, which then, in effect, makes you a professional singer, right? Which makes you more hireable and more desirable for agencies, or, you know, people who are looking to manage singers. And on a kind of fairy tale level, you just never know who might be in that pub. It could be, like I say, the sort of person who owns a fabulous record label, or who's, you know, a massive record producer. It could be them. It could be somebody with connections to people like that. It could be Johnny down the road with a home studio who thinks that you might be nice to be on his dance track that he's working on. Still a great opportunity. So really, what I'm trying to say is, things come in stages, things come, you know, in a realistic way. So when we ask the universe for something, we have to look for the opportunity. And as I say, this is the bit that people often stumble on, or they don't realise, because they're not looking for the, you know, the opportunity. They're kind of expecting in the case of a singer, you know, the $3 million record deal to just suddenly come through the letterbox, even though they're not known within the industry. They've never, you know, stepped in a recording studio. But really what they should be looking for is the opportunity to sing, which will eventually lead to that £3 million record deal coming through the door. And I know that might be, you know, a bit of an out there example, but that's obviously, you know, singing and working in the music industry is obviously something that I know about. So it was an easy example for me to explain. So I hope that it made sense, and I hope that when you are doing your manifestations and practicing your law of attraction exercises, that you're not forgetting the step of looking for the opportunity. Because so often people say to me, "Oh, I've done what you said, I've been doing the happiness bank, I've been, you know, doing all the things, but it's just not happened yet." And it's because they've missed out this important step, the receiving step, you know, in the ask, believe, receive. They're not looking for the opportunity to receive what they have asked for. Let me know how you got on with your ask, believe, receive. And now I'm going to answer a psychic question from a listener. And if you would like a free psychic mini reading here on the show, again, the contact information to get in touch will be in and around wherever you're listening to this, or you can go to www.torjamesfaulkner.com. There will be a contact tab. Just fill it in. Let me know it's for Weave Your Web. You can listen to past episodes on the site too, and a bunch of other stuff. You can also just DM me on Instagram with your spooky stories or your psychic questions for the show. Just DM them. Just let me know that it's for the show. And that's at Tor James Faulkner. And again, all that information will be in and around wherever you're listening to this. So our question this week comes from E. E did put her full name on for privacy. I've shortened it to E because it was a very distinctive name. And E says, "Hello, Tor. Hi. I hope you are doing well. I am. I am doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too. There is no one in my life. I wonder if there is a love." Let's have a look. So there's nobody at the moment in terms of romance. And you're wondering if love is to come. I really wish the cards weren't so noisy down the mic. I also have to sort of put my arms around the mic, so I tend to kind of like bash the pop guard, and it's a very noisy part of the show, and I do apologise, because I know some of you listen to this on the bus on the way to work, or as you're going to, well, hopefully you're not listening as you go to bed tonight after that spooky story. Let's see, is there a love for E? Let's have a look. There is, but it's not quite yet. What we have here, okay. What we have here is the angels, spirit, whichever sort of energy you connect with. They're asking you to not even really think about it for the next 5 or 6 months. You kind of need to be focusing on yourself a bit more. You need to be building up your strength. They're saying mentally and physically. Okay, so I'm passing that on. You need to build up your strength. They're saying mentally and physically. Build up your confidence. I do get a bit of a lack of confidence with you, but I don't feel like it's something that's inherent within you. I don't feel like you're a low confidence person inherently. I feel like you've got a lot going on at the moment. I'm seeing piles and piles of books, and I'm seeing you kind of writing at a desk. Are you at the tail end of like a long study course? Are you at the end of like a long time of studying, like 7 years worth of like after school time studying? So you've done all the school, and then you've gone to like uni or something for like 7 years. That's what it feels like, and that's what it looks like. So you're not inherently a low confidence person. You don't inherently have low self-esteem or anything like that. But what you do have is fatigue, right? You're fatigued because of all the studying and all the things that you've had to learn and all the things that you've had to do and the skills that you've had to acquire, that you've kind of not focused on your own self so much. Because this also feels like a helping profession too, where you're kind of focused on other people a lot of the time. Are you doing placements? They're yelling placements in my ear, like out doing placements in certain places, helping people, and that's being a bit of a wake up call as well. Anyway, so they're saying to focus a bit more on yourself, get yourself stronger mentally and physically for the next 5-6 months. And then we have somebody coming in next year. There's 2 people first. There's 3 people in total. There's 2 people first, and then the third one is kind of like the one that would be like the love that you're asking for, the love that you would like. So we sort of see 2 guys coming in, you kind of date, they're kind of alright. It's kind of nice to have the attention and feel, flirty and, go out and have the nice food and all of that. And then like the third one that comes in, that's it. That's the one. They're showing me that he always wears a shirt. It's often a blue shirt, like a buttoned shirt. Either, I can't quite tell if it's like a white vest or a white t-shirt underneath. That seems to be like his general colour theme. It's like blue and white, so a lot of what he wears is blue and white. He feels confident in that. He feels like it makes him approachable. It's almost like he's researched certain colours to be like a more approachable person, if that makes sense. You two don't get on right away at first. You don't get on right away at first. You think he's a bit arsey. It's the word that they're giving me. You think he's a bit of an arse. So you don't get on at first. And you know each other for about 6 weeks to 2 months. And then things click. Sparks start to fly. So you could actually be looking at a whole year from now. Maybe not quite. Like 10 months to a year from now. Before you're actually in the relationship, before it's actually fully clicked and it's a thing. But yes, the short answer to your question is yes. A little bit of work on yourself first. Get all the studies sorted first, because I feel like that's coming to an end early next year. 2 sort of datey boys, and then, you know, the love that you're looking for. Okay. I don't know what that bang was. I am spooked. I don't even know if the mic picked it up. If it didn't pick it up, there was a thud. There was a random thud, and I don't know what it was. And I'm spooked. But we're going to finish off the show with a general angel card. And as always, if this doesn't resonate with you, don't take it. Don't make it fit into your life. Don't force it, okay? So we're going to take a general angel. Can't even talk. I shouldn't really have a podcast. I trip on my words all the time, and I can't I can't talk the other half of the time. Okay. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. That should be a song, shouldn't it? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. That was not even remotely in tune either. Okay. What is this episode? It's gone all to pop. Right. Okay. So the card that comes up here first is the Divine You card. And this card is represented by Archangel Metatron. And it's funny because it's come up after E's reading there. And what I'm getting from this is focus on self. Focus on self. Focus on our spirituality. Focus on what kind of energies that we connect to. What makes us feel calm? What makes us feel pure? Right? What makes us feel connected? It's time to kind of declutter things around us that are blocking the flow of energy. Okay? So maybe we're feeling a little bit stuck in our spirituality, whatever that might be for you. Maybe it's because of a certain negative person in our lives. Maybe it's because there's physical clutter. You know, sometimes physical clutter can have an impact on our spiritual side. So it might be cleaning out a drawer, just making sure that, you know, the bin isn't too full of rubbish. But having a bit of a declutter in some way so that the energy flows easier around us, so that we feel more connected. They are showing me somebody meditating as well. So for some people, this might actually be, you know, taking more time to meditate, taking more time to connect. Maybe you don't have, you know, a long time to meditate. Just pop some meditation music on in the background and just, you know, keep as calm as possible as you're going through the day. But we also have the abundance card. Okay, and I feel like this taps a little bit into the law of attraction stuff, where as we declutter, as we have a spiritual declutter, the extra ease of flow is going to help those manifestations, is going to help that abundance come much quicker. And we have the strength card too. So the abundance card is represented by Archangel Uriel, and the strength card is represented by Archangel Michael. So we're going to feel much stronger by having this spiritual declutter as well. Okay, and you know, making sure that we feel connected and making sure that we feel like we know who we are spiritually. So it's going to help the abundance come, and we're just going to generally feel stronger. We're just going to generally feel much stronger. And remember, you can call upon any or all of these, you know, angels connected with this insight. So again, the angels connected with this are Metatron. I'm trying not to say Megatron, because I always accidentally say Megatron. Metatron, Uriel, or Uriel, depending on how you wish to say, and Michael. So these are the three angels connected with this insight. Call upon one of them, the one you feel most drawn to. Call upon all three of them, and all you have to do to do that is just say, please, Archangel Metatron, Uriel, Michael, please come and aid me with this. Please come and aid me with this spiritual clutter. Please come and aid me, you know, within my life, whatever it might be. Help bring that abundance, help bring that strength. And you can just say it in your head. You don't necessarily need to say it out loud. And that's it. Thank you very much for spending this episode with me. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. I always hate ending the show. I always hate ending it. I'm always sad at the end of an episode. But alas, the episode does have to end at some point. So again, thank you very much for spending your time with me. Don't forget, if you do want to send in your questions for a free psychic mini reading, or if you've got your own spooky story, paranormal story that you would like to share, please send that via torjamesfaulkner.com, or the contact information will be in and around the page. And until next time, go power.
The onion is a tuberous vegetable and is a member of the genus Stinkis delicioso. It was highly prized by the ancient Egyptian pharaohs and their friends and cousins. They cause watering of the eyes and rubefaction of the skin, but it is very delicious. Onions, onions, la la la. Onions, onions, ha ha ha. Do 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 do. Onions, onions.